Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, welcome once again to another little offshoot of the normal Kilt-Man channel, because yet again we have to do a little video foray into the ongoing mystery of missing Nikki Bulley. 45-year-old, Christ, by the time this ends, she'll be 46, 47, by the sound of things. Went missing January 27th, a Friday morning, having dropped her two primary school daughters off at school, and then took the dog Willow, a Springer Spaniel, for a walk along the banks and the fields alongside the River Wyre, St Michael's on Wyre in Lancashire. You know all this. You know all this. I've done numerous videos on this now. And I was waiting to do another one because there were so many things were happening every single day, because media speculation, I've used that horrible target word, speculation. Oh, no. Got all of a sudden, the YouTube, laws that be will come down. The algorithms, he mentioned the word speculation. Trouble will be knocking at my door. Arrested for speculating and making unorthodox hypotheses. If you watch my previous videos, you'll know where I stand on this. And it stinks. The whole thing stinks. Now, today, I knew there was going to be I woke up this morning to find out there was going to be a press conference by Lancashire Police as to what they've done and to address all the speculation that they've caused. And so I thought, I've got to watch that. And then little did I know that there was another Nikki and Nicola who was going to have another enormously huge press conference right beforehand, which came right out of the blue. And that was Nicola Sturgeon, who quit the job as the Premier, the First Minister of Scotland, right out of the blue. So that took precedence for a huge portion of the morning. And then finally we got the press conference with Lancashire Police. And I made some wee notes about the whole thing. As I said before, I've been following this, since day one. I reported on it in day one as it happened. And I've reported ever since. Nothing at all adds up. Nothing that Lancashire Police have ever said adds up. And their press conference today was meant to address all that, to stop all this armchair detection, stop all of that. We're going to address all the points that have been raised, all the things and the so-called evidence and the suspicious people and suspicious vehicles that have been seen in the vicinity and at the time of her disappearance. We're going to address all that. We're going to give a timeline, and we're going to go in depth as to why we did what we did and why we focused so primarily on the River Wyre, even though there was absolutely no evidence that she went into the river. But they still clung to that, and they still do. Despite what they said in that press conference, they still are clinging to that belief. So I watched it, hoping to, be, given more information, enough information to go, well, that makes sense. That's why you did that. Oh, you can eliminate that. Oh, I'm with you. I think it was a wise move not using Detective Superintendent Sally Riley, who has been anything but believable in all of her bulletins and press conferences thus far. They brought in SIO, Senior Investigative Officer Becky, I forgot her surname, don't know. And they brought in another guy who's a superior, and he is a Lancashire Police hot rod, Detective Inspector, Superintendent, High Commissioner, I don't know what he was, Peter something or other. And they brought these two people in, and they gave a very lengthy press conference, which actually was very in-depth. Now, don't go immediately going, oh, this tatty-headed, strange weirdo with all the weird things behind him and wearing a kilt. Yes, the kilt. That guy, he's just on one. He's got his own ideas, his own hypotheses, his own speculations. Yeah, I have. And a great deal of my own suspicions. I'm not going to put them out there. There's been 2 arrests already for people who have made malicious and vile phone calls. Phone calls, this is, to the St Michael's on Wire councillors. You know, the local constituency made horrible sort of allegations to them. And they're not connected. It was a man and a woman, as far as I know, and they're in different parts of the northwest and of England. And they've both been arrested. Now, yeah, and because of that huge void of information, yes, we believe she's gone in the river, but we have absolutely no evidence to substantiate that. Nothing at all. The last known sighting of Nikki Bulley was in the upper field. The upper field. The dog, Willow, was found going ballistic between the bench and the gate, but actually nowhere near the river itself. The river's not far away, but as we now know, because you know the best guy in the business, Peter Folding of Specialist Group International, who's with the best sonar equipment and the best track record of finding people in water, and has worked on many high-profile cases, knows his stuff, was brought in finally against it. Lancashire Police didn't want him there to begin with. They refused his assistance. He offered his services for over a week free of charge. When they finally brought him up there at the behest of the family, Paul Ansell and the sister and the friends of Nikki Bulley, they finally, relented. Well, it's all over the media, so we better bring him up here. That's why they brought him in. No other reason. It was all over the media, so they had to, oh shit, I'm going to have to do this. So they brought him in. But they only gave him a certain part of the river to search. The part of the river that they searched already with their own police divers and the little guys on the dinghies, just plodding up and down the river, the sluggish, slow-moving river. As Peter Folding, SGI, expert in his field, said, at that time, on that Friday, if she'd fallen in the river and gone down, it's not a steep bank by that bench. If that's where she went in, it goes down a bit and then goes out a bit, and then he said she'd have gone in there. She'd have landed in 2 feet of water. 2 feet of water and landed on rocks. Might knock yourself out though. Yeah, you might. If you're falling. I said that, but the body wouldn't move very far. The body would stay there, and the dog would stay there. The dog would stay right there, indicating to anyone, my owner, my loved one, my mum has gone in the water there. And some dogs go in after their owners. The dog was completely bone dry. All categorically and conclusively proven the dog was bone dry. The dog did not go in the water. The water was 2 feet deep. As Peter Folding said, for her to have gone into any deeper stretch of water, that would have taken a really huge shove and possibly a slingshot or a catapult to get her into the deep water. And even then, that deep water wasn't moving on the day or most days. Oh, but it's a tidal river. Yeah, the tide is 15 miles down the other way at the estuary. And that tide goes in, goes out, and it fills many tributaries. The police, the Lancashire Police, are now searching that area with their little dinghies and their little motley crew of, actually, no, I sound like I'm really giving it loads on it, and I am, but their divers are great, their investigative teams are great, they know their job, and the people in the water are doing their job. But if you look at footage, you look at that estuary when it comes out into Morecambe Bay and the Irish Sea, Fleetwood, you look at that, it widens out enormously, and you have got the tide coming in, coming out, and you've got all these little tributaries with all these highly sprung little, the grass fronds are there, and I've walked a good while, a good stretch of the Wye Way, as it's called. It does the entire length of the river, which is 48 kilometers, 25 miles. It does go quite some distance. Me and my wife, Mrs. Kilt-Man, have walked some of that, rambling many years ago. And we've been to St. Michael's on Wye, the lovely church there, lovely village, the Grapes pub, fantastic stuff. Now, we've not been there for a good long while, so things may have changed. I don't know. And I've not been down. I've been to Morecambe. I've been to Morecambe Bay, but I've not seen this particular estuary. I've not seen this element, so I don't know. But looking at the footage of it, it looks really hard to genuinely investigate with a fine-tooth comb with only a handful of people. So, with all the media speculation and all the armchair detectives and the people who've arrived in the area, destroying a potential crime scene, of course, but we've discussed this, and the press conference discussed this as well. But we'll get on to that. This is all the build up to all this. I would suggest that you need boots on the ground, you need ground stompers, you need people to be there. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If a small child or an older person goes missing anywhere, the police will appeal to everyone, unless they genuinely think there's a crime involved, to bring everybody out to search. Right. You said the police, Lancashire Police, verified again and confirmed today massively that they don't believe there's a third party involved and no crime has happened. So, and you're still searching that river estuary of hundreds of tributaries, massive wide tidal stretch of water. You're going to want more than just a handful of coppers in dinghies and literally about 3 or 4 divers. You're going to want everybody to be out there in the marshlands either side who want to be there to help you search and find a body which you seemingly believe might end up there, which we've been told by the experts it ain't gonna happen, and she won't be there because she didn't go in the water. So you've knocked that back as well, and you don't want anyone there, and yet you allowed everyone to trample all over the last potential area that she was in on land. Let's analyse that for a second. As confirmed by SIO, Becky, whatever, the last known sighting of Nikki Bulley was in the upper field by other dog walkers, and she was seen with her mobile phone out in front of her. On the team call, she works as a mortgage advisor, and she was talking to a team chat with her work colleagues. She wasn't like that, and her phone was on mute, her camera was off, which is the norm for her. We now know this. They confirmed that's the norm for her, and she will walk with it like that. It won't be in her pocket. Why would it be in her pocket if she's on a fucking call? It won't be in her pocket. Yeah, she's going to be either there or there. Let's listen to it. Of course it is. She gets seen in the upper field. No one sees her at the bench. No one. The dog is found there, but not by the river. Going crazy between the bench and the gate, which leads to the lane, which leads out to another road where there's no CCTV coverage. And again, in the press conference, she went through, slowly, methodically, she went through all, we've got the CCTV footage from that area there by the caravan park, that stretch of the road there leading down to the pub, that stretch of road there going that way. It got all that, but kind of glibly went over the fact, oh yeah, but we haven't got footage from, if you come out of that and turn left, we've never got no footage of that. Which is why we're appealing to all the everyone who's driving by at that time, which apparently is, well, the number is 700, and they've written to all these people, these 700 drivers, to come back with any dash cam footage, and cyclists with either their handlebar footage or their headgear footage, and get back to us with anything like that. And but they've said she actually said words like, unless you've got something, don't bother sending it. So you're basically saying, like, well, we'll leave it up to you. I would be saying, we've asked you now. You were there. You might have footage. If you've got footage, you get that to us now. No, it's up to you. You don't think it's anything relevant there. I've never heard that before. The whole point of these things is like, no matter what you've seen, you might think it's nothing, but it might mean something to us. It might provide that little element, that crucial clue that fits the whole picture together. And she said, she actually said on a press conference, it's only positive stuff. Anything negative, don't bother. And this is about the dash cam and cyclist footage. Really? So what else do they address? The tatty red van. Yes, she talks about all the things that I've mentioned before, and you've seen, it's all well documented, and there's things which I haven't mentioned on previous videos because I was leaving it for something to happen, really. And so the tatty red van, she has said, this is SIO Becky, has said it's not suspicious, but we're still trying to find the owner of that van. We haven't found them yet, but we don't think it's suspicious. Okay. Well, I heard it was two suspicious people who were in the vicinity I initially heard on the day, in fact the morning that Nikki Bulley went missing. These are two guys with hoods and hiding their faces. I heard masks, and I also heard using their hands, but they had fishing rods. Fishermen, basically, who were seen at the same time on the same morning that Nikki went missing, acting suspiciously, and caused an uneasy feeling in the witnesses who spoke about them. I then heard that it wasn't on the same day, it was the day before. But people have come forward and said this. In the press conference, SIO Becky said it was on the same day. Can we get our facts straight here? What day were they seen there? And these suspicious guys with fishing rods. She said suspicious fishing men who were trying to mask their faces. Or certainly one was seen to be trying to mask his face. So we've approached the local angling societies, and it's an ongoing inquiry, and but she kind of just dismissed the whole thing. In the last day or so, there was a stained snow glove was found in a field much further away, but in the general area, and that's now in the hands. A glove is in the hands of the Lancashire Police, and they don't believe it's related. You're gonna find things in fields, aren't you? You're just going to find things. Doesn't mean it's part of a case. And so I don't really think too much about that. So they've kind of poo-pooed the tatty red van, the suspicious dudes in fishing gear, and the stained glove. They don't say what it's stained with. Air, soil, dog shit. Who knows? Right. There's another thing here which they didn't really mention. Oh, sorry. Before I come on to that, I will mention the Fitbit. They have said that the Fitbit wasn't synced and hadn't been for a while, so they can't find information on that. I get that. Paul Ansell, the partner, he apparently from day one said, "What about her car keys?" She drives a Mercedes, and can't you get in touch with Mercedes and get them to track and trace the car keys, because the car keys weren't found. They would be presumably in her pockets. She had the car keys with her. She didn't put them on the bench. I don't think she put anything on the bench, to be honest. I genuinely don't. But car keys, of course, you know, you got the fob, and it's like, and it's not just like put your key in, open the door. It's like from a distance, you know. Now, looked into this, and you've got to. I mean, you can't. Every electrical device should be able to be tracked, but what they say is it's got to be like an app that's synced in with it. Otherwise, we won't be able to track it. You guys know as well as I do that fucking spy satellites can track anyone's movements anywhere. They can do that. They're designed to do that. So all of a sudden now a key fob with electrical device which opens the car, and a signal which it gives off, which doesn't just die. You know, you might not use your car opening key fob for fucking weeks. It's still going to work. We're now 2 days shy of 3 weeks of going missing, and nowhere nearer an answer or resolution. That key fob, I'm not an expert. I just read into it only just recently, because when I saw that he was talking about it, I thought, that's a good idea, that. Now, apparently, he was asking about that from day one. Day one. But they didn't mention that in the press conference, and I've heard nothing more about it. Mercedes apparently didn't get back, so I don't know. There may be more on that, but it hasn't come to light. But clearly, we're not getting told that. So he's mentioned frustration at the police investigation, upheld by Peter Folding from SGI, the guy who's the expert at finding people in the water. You know, the high-profile guy that is the best in the business, the guy that you want if you're going to continue searching that river down to the estuary. You want him and his fucking sonar equipment to help you with that search. Otherwise, you're doomed. Because you're not allowing the public to be there, who could be eyes on the ground, got your welly boots on, and you might find something. Because somehow you believe that she's gone into 2 foot of water, which wasn't moving at all, and then been transported down towards the estuary, over a weir as well. I'm not going into this. I can't. It's infuriating beyond belief. So, Peter Folding has said and I'm not sure if he's there now. Well, he must be, because he's been very outspoken in the last few days, saying about Paul Ansell's frustration at the police investigation. He's been acting as a spokesman for him. He said, I will work on my own time and do a land search, because I definitely do not believe that she's in the water. She's on the land. So I'll do a search of the land with the tech that he has and the team that he has. He's going to work the land. I don't know if he is doing it right now. He said this, and he's definitely been talking to the partner and the family for the last few days. And he's been very media vocal about this. So, he could be up there, and the police. Okay, let's go back to the police, Lancashire Police, and this documentary. They call a missing person a misper, and they said there's 3. Do you know what? Speculation, hypothesis. Jesus, these words are beginning to haunt the media at the moment. But they're hypothesis. They're 3 hypotheses, as it should be, are the river, first and foremost. The river. They still firmly believe that she went into the river, even though there's no evidence to say that she did, and there's no evidence to say that she actually left the upper field and went down to the bench. And from the bench, you'd have to do a fucking Olympic hop, skip and a jump to get into the water. Unless you were shoved by King Kong. Third party and criminal activity. 0 evidence. 0. Yeah. I'm not arguing with that. There's been no evidence at all that's come to light that's been mentioned of any third party activity. Yes, the red van, suspicious people, possible decoy of the phone and the harness and the lead and all that and the dog. Just, yeah. But again, that's not hard and fast evidence. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. But it's not hard, fast, cool, concrete evidence. And gone missing by her own volition. Voluntarily gone missing. Okay. Right. There's only one way out of there, unless she has been seen on some footage and they know that she's gone in a direction and are not saying because they're trying to find her. Unless they're just holding stuff back. A lot of this, these press conferences, they're going to deliver certain amounts of evidence and what their beliefs are to try to alleviate public fears and quell speculation and worry and hysteria. For other cases besides this, there's a lot of reasons why you do a press conference. But just on the same note of this, don't you dare, come down on people who are making their own opinions and ideas when you have festooned. The media has completely lambasted every media platform with Nikki Bulley. So what are we meant to do? You're telling us it's missing, it's a mystery, it's a genuine mystery. Well, so what to do? And the police don't give any evidence at all to back any theory that they've got. So what are you meant to do? You can't have it both ways. It doesn't work. We're going to start thinking. Now, along those lines, and this was a brand new one to me today, a brand new one, and this has thrown things somewhat, and Lancashire Police have done it again. You created a void into which everyone threw their speculations, hypotheses and theories because you didn't tell them why you were doing a certain thing. And you allowed this to happen, and you allowed people to be there in the first couple of weeks. And only then, my God, you came down like a ton of bricks. And oh my God, but you created that environment. You've done it again. In the press conference, you've said that the reason why this was so important, once the alarm was raised on Friday morning, 27th of January, when she went missing, and the calls finally came through after going to the school and going to Paul Ansell, the partner, you converged on the area and apparently did a land search. Apparently, that's what you said, but then concentrated on the water, or mainly concentrated on the water anyway, at the river. It's because Nikki Bulley has vulnerabilities. And someone with vulnerabilities is a high risk case. Of course. To be honest, anyone who goes missing, it should be a high risk thing. But I get that. You've got to prioritise. I get that. So they didn't tell you what her vulnerabilities were. And at first I thought, well, that's fine. I made me a little nervous. Like, didn't know about that. What vulnerabilities? Didn't know about that. Made a little note. Vulnerabilities. And then at the end of the press conference, they opened up to the journalists who were there, and of course, people were asking, you've just brought up this vulnerabilities thing. Do you not think that people are going to start speculating now about the vulnerabilities? Can you not just say right now to alleviate all of this? No, both of them. No, it's between us and the family. What do you think is going to happen now? What do you think is going to happen? What are vulnerabilities? Okay. By the way, I haven't Googled this because I feel enough of a vulture as it is on this. But I feel, as I've said so many times now, I want that woman found safe and sound. And I want resolution to this. There's 2 kids involved there. Funnily enough, SIO Becky kept saying, we're doing this because there's 2 daughters there who need their mother back. There's 2 daughters who need to know what happened to their mother. There's 2 daughters. She only ever mentioned the partner once. As in the family and the partner need to know. kept going on with the two daughters. The two daughters need to know. Vulnerabilities. We can't tell you that. No, that's between us and the family. And the JNOs are kind of like, well, they've basically just put that out there that she's got vulnerabilities. That could be a huge amount of things, but you, as well as I know, that is just going to cause enormous more amounts of grief online. They mentioned TikTok. Oh God, I don't go on TikTok. Fucking TikTok. Chinese fucking run TikTok. Don't trust those bastards at all. Having said that, couldn't you just do with a Chinese spy balloon right now over Lancashire with all its sensory apparatus? It's super sophisticated, radar and cameras. You want that? That'll fucking find her. By the way, send one over to the San Gabriel Mountains, the Baldy Mountain where Julian Sands have gone missing. Weird though, isn't it? Weird how it all ties in some ways. But we can't. It's all that's between us and the family. What would vulnerabilities mean? Now, folks, I really don't want to go down this road. It could mean a huge variety of things. Was she suicidal? Was a bankruptcy lined up? Did she just, I've got to go, got to do a runner? See, I'm doing it now. I'm doing it. And why am I doing it? Because you created this thing. You mentioned she had vulnerabilities, so it's a high risk case. And then don't expand on it at all. Lancashire Police, you have created this whirlpool, this complete maelstrom of speculation and hypothesis and theorising and armchair detecting. You've done it. You've done this. I'm going to say right here and now that they know. Lancashire Police, you know what's happened. You know. It ain't UFOs. It ain't. You know what's happened. And you're waiting for a certain someone to drop themselves in it. That's what I think. Oh, by the way, it's free speech in this country. At least it was. I am allowed to say certain things. I am not pointing a finger at anybody, any individual. But I do not believe that this case is as mysterious as we may think it is. Excuse me. There is something going on, and I think that they know it. And they're on to something. And this whole river thing, sorry, I've been talking for too long without any squig of anything at all. So I'll correct that right now. We're back. Cheers, y'all. Water. They know. And they're waiting for something to drop. There was a documentary a few days ago which came right out the blue. I was due at a 30th birthday party in the pub just down the road. I'd been there with the dog earlier and, you're coming back to the party? Oh yeah, of course I am, yeah. So I came back, put the dog in and took the lead off and the harness off the dog. When I got back to the house, I don't take the harness off when I'm out in a field. The harness stays on. The harness was mentioned in the press conference as well. I know I went on about this. Dog walkers who put a harness on their dog, put a harness on for a reason, to restrain the dog, because the dog's a bit like boisterous, But you can unleash, the dog off the lead. The dog runs about, but you just clip it back on to the harness at the end of the walk. And I questioned this. Why would you take the harness off? Because it's a pain in the arse putting it on in the first place and then taking it off and then putting it on again way out in the field. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. With literally hundreds of dog walkers that I know, hundreds, and I've had dogs all my life, all big dogs. I've never known this. Never. With anyone. And everybody I know has confirmed it. But apparently, as SIO Becky did say today in the press conference, yeah, she was regularly known to take the dog off the lead and unharness the dog in the upper field. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to argue with that then. If that was a known thing, I don't get it, but if that's a known thing, fine. I'm not bothered. But, where was I going with that? The vulnerabilities, and you've now thrown that, you've opened that can of worms and gone like way into the crowd. What do you think's going to happen now? It's going to be a frenzy. It will be a free-for-all. It'll be 10 times worse than what's happened already. They confirmed they searched the abandoned house 3 times. Three times? Shouldn't once be enough with a good force of, searching police officers? They were asked about the resources being used. Is Lancashire Police being stretched? Because everyone's on the river and in the fields. He said, oh no, we've got plenty. We've pulled in other resources from other constabularies. But Lancashire Police are still handling things in all the other areas of Lancashire. Well, it clearly isn't, is it? If you had to bring in other elements from elsewhere. Think about what you're saying. Think about what you're saying. But they searched that abandoned house, the very posh abandoned house over the water, directly opposite where the bench is. And 3 times, she ain't there. The caravan park, I forgot the name of it now, Raw something anyway. They've been apparently very cooperative. Yeah, I've no reason to doubt that at all. And they've been through all the caravans, and but they're still coming down on people who are like going into properties, abandoned properties, empty properties, breaking in, trying to find, Nikki. You created this environment. You created it. Oh, you want to use the media, but you don't like what the media then created. Catch-22, folks. Catch-22. You can't have it both ways. What else do we have here? Let's have a little look. Oh yeah. The phone. Her phone. Right. They did say this today. This is today. This is Wednesday, the 15th of February. Yeah. I have to check the month then. Bloody hell. 15th of February, 2023. We are 2 days shy of being 3 weeks that she's been missing for. And they said today, this again is SIO, Becky, whoever, we're checking into her social media, everything that she's done online on her phone. So, and they said this, and I'm got to stand by this. If she appears online, don't start suddenly texting us and phoning us. She's online. That's us. That's us doing it. Actually, me saying that out loud now sounds really bogus, doesn't it? If she appears online, don't contact us. Oh dear, that suddenly sounds dead suspect, doesn't it? Don't get in touch with us because if she appears online, because we know she's online, because we know where she is. I don't know. No. That's just me saying that, and it doesn't add up to a can of worms. Folks, however you cut this case, it beggars belief. Part of me thinks this is pure mystery. It's exactly what missing 411 phenomenon is, about missing people who just vanish. Part of me thinks No, it's not. They know exactly where she is, or they've got a good idea where she is, and they're waiting for someone to trip up and come clean, drop themselves in it. And a much bigger part of me thinks that, to be honest, at the moment. But however you cut this, the police have really let themselves down with what should be a straightforward investigation. But you brought it to everyone's attention. You let the media then take over, and then you let everybody else take over and get involved. And, you know, pot calling the kettle black, in many other cases, that's what you want. You want people to be involved. You want extra boots on the ground. You want extra eyes looking, extra ears listening. You want all of this to help you out. And in this case, you don't want anyone to help you out. Stay away, please stay away. And yet you waited a good week and a half before you actually started to say things like that. You let the entire area get trampled to bits. Like a stampede of buffalo. That's what you did. Does that add up? That doesn't add up. Don't even pretend that it does add up. The police may have exactly, they're planning this and they're doing it. Like, we know, we just got to wait for this penny to drop and that domino to fall. And then it leads up to Nikki Bulley and it leads up to who's done it. But you fucked it all up in the meantime by bringing all of us into it. And then you turn around on us, oh no, no, no. Again, it's all misdirection. Did you want us all to be involved and making our own speculations? Is that what you wanted? Speculations, hypothesis. And we've got three hypotheses. And the hypothesis one, and no one comes out of this saying hypothesis properly. Nobody, not even the fucking bigwigs of Lancashire Police. We have hypothesis, and and our second hypothesis. Fuck off. It's getting maddening now, isn't it? Isn't it? As I said, at the moment, eyes are rolling, but pretty soon, when the resolution comes, heads are going to roll as well. Someone's for a chop here. Somebody. Very definitely. I am not going to sit here and go, well, it's so-and-so, although I do think it's so-and-so. And it could also be you and you. But something's going on. And it ain't aliens. It ain't aliens. It's a lot closer to home. It's on terra firma. And if she is in the water, she didn't go in by the bench. She went in much further down. That way or that way. You've got Peter Faulding there, who is now going to conduct, so he says, a search on land with his equipment, his tools and his team. I think there's a lot of people who are making something out of this. A lot of these names in the frame are somehow going to make their name from this case, and they're loving it. Oh yeah, the documentary. Sorry, I meant to mention that. The 30th birthday party I didn't make it to. I came back home. Sorry folks, I went off on a tangent. I came back home and there was talk of a Chinese banquet arriving via balloon. And I thought, oh yeah, well there's a buffet at the I'll stay. And time got on, and then by the time we finished the food, and I was still going to go back to this party, we were channel hopping, and on Channel 5, UK terrestrial Channel 5, there was a documentary, Vanished, the mystery of missing Nikki Bulley. Just came out of the blue. We just went, I thought, what's that? I never knew it was even being made. And you had, It was the guy, it was the sports presenter. What the hell was he doing presenting this? Dan, I've got his fucking name now. He was doing it. And you had Mark Thomas Williams, or Mark Williams Thomas, who was a controversial criminal journalist involved with the Maddie McCann case. And people don't like him, some people do. You had a former Metropolitan Police detective, had the names written down, but not on that pad. And you had Peter Folding as well, you know, Specialist Investigations Group, you know, Specialist Group International, sorry. He was there as well. And you had extensive interviews with the partner, Paul Ansell. I urge you to watch this documentary if you can find it. It is on Channel 5. There'll be apps and, you know, iPlayers, well, not iPlayers, ITV players, whatever, Channel 5 players. You'll find it somewhere online. It was very interesting. There was Mark Williams Thomas was sort of, he assumed my role. He was denouncing the police. The former Met officer, detective, was trying her best to defend, but it didn't come across too well. Peter Folding was great, but he, again, you know, I've been working with the family, I know the family really well, and there was a holding back of a lot of things which spoke volumes in the way it came across. But the interviews, but the interviews with the partner and her sister, I think it was, who conducted separately, were lengthy and in depth. And watch it, folks. Watch it. Again, in that documentary, nothing added up. Nothing. And people's reactions to questions, people's responses, certain people's really, really didn't add up. And the spidey sense was tingling hugely. If I'm wrong in what I, in here, think and suspect, then I'll sit in a corner wearing a silly hat, you know. I'm not pointing any fingers at any particular person. I'm not. I'm urging you guys to look at what has been put out there for us to look at. What's been told to us. It's not us making things up. It's interpretations of what you're being shown. And that documentary, which not a lot of people have seen, a lot of people around here, I mean, everyone's talking about this case all the time. How they even saw it? They snuck it out on Channel 5. No one watches Channel 5. They snuck it out on that. And what? And we caught it. And I was like, are you buying that? Someone said, Mrs. Kilt-Man. I'm going, are you buying that? Do you believe that? Look at the eyes. Look at how they can't even say any words properly, and they're going over the same thing. And there's a suppressed smirk. Look at that. I'm giving too much away. I know I am. But you guys look, see what you think. It didn't come across well to me at all. But as I said before, if I'm completely wrong, oh God, and I hope I am. I want it to be found safe and sound and taken back home. And oh God, it's just. But what could it be? She fell over and was concussed and lying on a riverbank for almost 3 weeks. We found her safe and sound. No. I have two major lines of suspicion in this. And neither of them are reassuring to any of us. But I ain't saying what they are. I've alluded to them already quite a lot. Folks, I think I've covered everything. There will be more, and I've seen nothing since that press conference this morning, which got massively sort of overshadowed and shunted to one side by the resignation of Nicola Sturgeon, First Minister of Scotland, which again, I was like, oh my God, what's that? And I was waiting for the Nikki Bulley press conference. And there's a lot of food for thought with that. So if you can't find a documentary, you'll be able to find that press conference. That'll be all over the media because they're still using the media because they have to. They've got to get the word out there. If you don't want people to be involved in it and making their own ideas up and putting it online in this day and age when everybody puts everything online all the time, then don't fucking report on it. Just clamp down and then it'll just go away. In America, this search would not have gone on this long. It wouldn't. I can tell you that for a fact. Unless they knew there was a criminal element involved. A missing person does not go on for as long as this. They don't do it. 6 days, 8 days, 10 days maybe. They don't go beyond that. They haven't got resources. They're not bothered. Just, it's cold case, unsolved. They're not bothered anymore. But this is going on and on. But the UK is small, little squashed, punched up little island, like a little kangaroo, booting, a beach ball, which would be Ireland. A little kangaroo there. And there's so many bloody millions crammed into this one small area. And yet we've got Scotland, England, Ireland, Wales. We've got all these countries crammed into this little tiny pocket of land. One person goes missing and fucking all hell breaks loose. In America, one person goes missing. So what? Jesus, Get back to us when 1 million go missing, But here, it's different. So, that's where it's going on. And the thing is, the police have to get involved. And when you say that the entire country, if someone goes missing in America, the entire nation doesn't even know. 99% of them don't even know. Unless it's in the same state. But even then, most of them won't even know about it. If you're in the same county, you might know about it. And then you might get involved. Because in America, they bring in the public to try and help with the search. There's the other thing. They actively involve the public. They want them in. Which is why they can probably close down a case very quickly. Because, if several hundred people couldn't find them in that 15, 20 mile square area on that mountain or whatever, then nowhere else to go. Nothing else to go on. In this country, in a small stretch, and if you brought all them people in, you'd find her. If she was there. Folks, there is way, way much more to talk about with this. But my throat's killing me. And I need some whiskey, which I've gotten on in the hizzy at the moment. Shit. So, means I've got to go out and drink it elsewhere. Folks, I have been always trying to be Kilt-Man. I know this is not my normal sort of thing, but I've done loads on the channel, which is the normal sort of thing. So, but this is rolling on and on and on and on and on. And I do feel sort of obliged to keep talking about it whilst it's ongoing. I've got my thoughts, you've got your thoughts. We may not agree on even the barest minimum of them, but at least it's worth talking about. Any one of your family could go missing. Anyone. Your best friend, your daughter, your son, your wife, your husband, your brother, your sister, mum and dad. Anyone can go missing. I get the point of look at this, what's this? I get the point of people saying things online and casting aspersions and pointing fingers and accusing, and it's worrying to find. Of course it is. But equally, the more people who are invested in something and trying to help, the better the outcome and result could be. You're allowing more eyes and ears and, thoughts. Oh, to Lancashire Police, we're exploring every avenue. We've got our hypotheses. We've got 3 of them. Burn the river. Third party, which you don't believe. No evidence at all of it. No evidence at all of going in the river either, by the way. Or left by her own volition. Voluntarily left. And again, there's no real reason to believe that unless we're going back to these vulnerabilities. You put that out, not me. You brought that up. What do you think is now going to happen? You mentioned them and you wouldn't divulge any further. You put that breadcrumb out there. You literally lit the blue touch paper. What do you think is going to happen now? Clusterfuck. You guys might know exactly what you're doing, but your handling of it, as far as the public and the media is concerned, has been abhorrent and deplorable. You're a bunch of cack-handed juveniles. You really are. You bring her back safely. I shall salute. Way! But you still fucked everything up in your communications to the public and the media. And today's press conference helped you zilch, nada, diddly squat. I'm going to see you all leaders. Wouldn't it be easy if it was UFOs? God, wouldn't it?